Hi, this is Carol Zeracor, and I'm going to attempt to answer the discussion board question of manager versus leader, and whether or not I think there is room for both. And the overall answer to that is yes, definitely. But I have a few ways that I have shown the difference in the two types of leaders. So I used the knowledge pyramid, which I thought was a pretty good visual of what the difference is. You can see the data and the information on the bottom, which is what I feel like a manager would be, and the knowledge and wisdom is someone that you look up to and you follow them, and that would be the leader. And I also compared it to motivation in the self-determination theory with intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Looking at intrinsic motivation, that would be more of the leader role, where they provide enjoyment for what you're doing. It gives you an inherent satisfaction. They make you feel like you've done a really good job. They give you autonomy to do what you feel like you need to do. It's interesting to you, and they have an extreme amount of competence. And then we look at the extrinsic motivation, and to me that's more of the management level, where the manager is pushing for performance, and you might get rewards for it, external rewards. You get paid for it. They're looking for success in outcomes, and they're also looking at productivity. And then another way that I compared the manager and the leader is when I think about it, I think about the manager as the doer and the leader as the feeler. For example, the manager might tell you what to do, but the leader is going to ask you to be a part of it and make you feel good about it. The manager will take very little risk, where the leader will go and take quite a bit of risk. And the manager will give you steps to follow and make out the plans, where the leader has more of a vision of where they want to go. And then you've got the manager, who either approves or disapproves, and the leader, who motivates you. The manager, who votes according to his head, and the leader, who votes according to his heart. The manager has more control and wants to keep control of things, where the leader is more of a free thinker and can sometimes be way out there. And then when I'm thinking about it from my own personal perspective, I wanted to look at where I see leaders and management in my own personal life. And I divided it into 4 different areas. The first is for personal growth, such as maybe financially or doing something special for myself. And with personal leadership, I look for the ability to develop and utilize positive leadership traits, which guides the direction of my life, instead of letting time and chance determine what happens. So I'm looking for someone out there that can give me that leadership in growing myself. And my spiritual growth. There's leaders for spiritual growth, and they look at, I'm looking for their values and their attitudes and behaviors, and more from an intrinsic motivation, which satisfies my fundamental need for spiritual well-being. And then there's professional growth. I prefer the servant leader, where they have a philosophy set of practices that enriches the lives of individuals, builds better organizations, and it ultimately creates a more just and caring world. Which brings me to community growth and doing for the other person. And in this, I'm looking for leaders that represents the community's interests and plays the role of protecting them. Now, with all this being said, where does management fall in? Well, in order to keep all of these things going, you've got to have someone that you look to make sure that the day-to-day activities are being done. And that's where the manager comes in. For instance, in personal growth, I might look to my CPA for my taxes. In spiritual growth, there may be the lady that handles the nursery for kids. Professional growth, who's going to help make sure that we know the numbers that we're supposed to meet at work? And then in the community, what about who takes care of the trash and make sure that we know what day to empty the trash and when to pay our bills and that type of thing. So that's where the management comes in. And so all together is how I view the difference in leaders and managers. And here's some references that I used, and I look forward to your response.